What's going on, everybody? My name is Andrew Oltmanns. I run a channel called Thrash Metal Studio, and tonight we're going to interview my father. For those that don't know, my father's had this Halloween get-up going on in the garage here since about, what, 2004?
Yeah.
So 2004 he's been doing this, and every year he's been adding new things and updating stuff, but he's been truly dedicated to this. Every Halloween, somehow, some way, us kids or grandkids get roped into coming over here and helping with it. But you know what? It's a lot of fun for him. I know he enjoys it, and what better way to get to know my dad than to do an interview like this. So let's do a little rundown here. I got all my questions down here on a stool here. Introduction to my dad. He's born in '54, so he's cooking at a good 67 years old right now, and been a horror movie fan since a young kid. What kind of movies did you get into? What hooked you when you were a kid?
Oh, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein. Those are probably the two favorite ones, and then you just go from there. And any Universal monster movie out there that was out there in the 60s and the 50s, I mean, us kids would just get into it in the 60s, and then the bottle companies come out in the 60s and just saturated the market with them, and that just took off. And then the monster magazines, and you name it, it's out there. Anybody who collects anything, you can find it from the 60s. It's all related to monsters.
Buy like comic books and stuff like that?
Oh, sure. You had like Mad Magazine. They would do spoofs on stuff like that, and then you had the monsters. Some of the monster magazines that are out there today
was it Fangora or something like that?
Fangora was a big one, yeah. And then there was Classic Monsters out of England. They're out of England now, but they used to be in California and stuff like that. But you know, you had your TV movies and TV shows late at night on Friday night, Saturday night. You had Creature. You had Horror Incorporated was a big one in the Twin Cities. Thriller. You know, just it seemed like that was the big classic thing. And then you get people like Elvira, and she would. That was probably, I'm thinking 80s. Maybe 70s, but I'm thinking more 80s.
Almost late 70s.
Yeah, and she started some of that stuff, and then Vampira was more like 50s, 60s, until she kind of faded out of existence. And then there's other people's out there. You know, there's still a lot of people out there that do a lot of stuff. Some of the guys I know on Facebook who have been on shows like Face Off and stuff on Sci-Fi Channel. They still do a big thing like that. They have their weekly shows that they put on broadcasts on YouTube or Facebook or something like that. You know.
Well, you've done a little bit of that too. Like every year you'll do like a Facebook Live thing.
Yeah, and then I try to get a new video out there on my Facebook page. You know, fans of Frankenstein, and throw a little thing in there.
Yeah. Well, how many fans do you have on there now?
I'm trying to close out the page and go to a group, because it seems like the group has got more notoriety to it, or you know, you get more of a fan base with that. I don't know what it is.
Reach out a little more.
Yeah, and now there's just tons of groups out there. I think I belong to probably 20, 25 of them, and then they all share things back and forth, you know, stories, shows. They're trying to remake the Universal monster movies, but I think some of them kind of fall flat on their face, and they tried to get away from the black and white type of movie,
classic style,
with the big stage presentation, like Bride of Frankenstein, where when you had a set there in Hollywood, it was like 3 stories high, and it was all real. You know, it wasn't fake. And the same thing goes with the equipment they use for the monster movies, like Bride of Frankenstein. Even Young Frankenstein used the original equipment from the Frankenstein movies, and it was all working equipment. And I guess the guy who owned the stuff, his nephew got a hold of it and put it in a warehouse, and now it's sitting somewhere in the United States. I don't know
collecting
where.
Dust.
But, you know, it just goes to show you the fan base that's out there and the following My God, you get on YouTube and you just type in Halloween stuff or horror movies or something like that, and there's just tons of people out there doing this stuff.
Yeah.
And there's always ideas. Everybody's always giving out ideas about how they're doing things and how they can make things better. And then you've got your conventions where people go to the horror conventions and different ideas there, and the sky's the limit as far as how gory you want to get.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but classic horror movies have got a huge following, probably more so than some of the sci-fi movies, I think.
Yeah.
But there's a mix of both right there too. But the classic horror movies are the best, I think.
Yeah. Nothing will replace the original stuff.
No. in Hollywood, like I said, Hollywood has fallen flat on their face on that one.
Yeah.
There's been some, Chronicles of Frankenstein, what was the other one with Eva Green in it? I can't remember what that show was. It was on Netflix or Hulu or something. But anyways, they based that around the Frankenstein monster and the Wolfman and Dracula and just all kinds of classic monsters. And that was pretty good. But for all in all, I don't know. I think the best movie I've seen out there that was redone would be Van Helsing.
Yeah.
And that you had the Wolfman in there, you had Dracula, you had Frankenstein, although he looked like a steam engine. Mm-hmm. But it was still a classic, based on the classic movie, and it had the rustic look to it instead of this crap that they're putting out now.
Yeah.
It's just
well, everything's CGI now.
yeah. It is too much CGI.
You know.
I mean,
All right. I think that's a pretty long-winded. No, that's cool. It's a lot of good stuff. I mean, for anybody that isn't as far into it.
There's a lot to it. There's a lot to it.
Oh yeah.
God, I mean, it's just not only the monsters; it's the actors, and you get into the actors' history and how many actors really did monster movies for Universal Pictures, and like Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi and Lon Chaney. It's just, oh my God. And even Lon Chaney's father. I mean, if you looked at the history of that guy and how he would contort his face just to make the monster, like Phantom of the Opera or Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Everything was contorted, and then he had a little toolbox that he carried around with him all the time, and then put on his makeup himself. Nobody did the makeup for him. He did his own. It wasn't like you sit in a chair and they plaster you up with cotton gauze and stuff and make you out of a mummy. And this guy did everything himself, and that kind of followed through with all the rest of the stuff too. I mean, even the gal who played Bride of Frankenstein, Elsa did her own makeup. She did her own hair. These were very talented people back then. Very talented. They didn't have to have a bunch of handmaidens follow them around and kiss their ass all the time.
I could use that. Well, what inspired you to want to do this in the garage? What motivated you?
I think I just started getting back into the monster movies, and then when we were across the street or across the park over there, I started really getting into them, and then said, I can make this stuff. And before you know it, I had this, that, and the other thing, and everything in here is handmade, and you put some lights in it and flash it up a little bit, add a little smoke. You can pretty much do anything you want with ideas, and that's pretty much where it took off. I mean, we made that one Frankenstein table over at 123rd.
Right?
Yeah.
Or no, it was the other one.
Well, that was the basis of it.
Yeah.
And this is the final solution right here. I had the gears from work where Adam was making a clock out of plywood, and he cut all that stuff out of the CNC. And then I put the gears together, and I said, I could better this. And
if you can't see this, I'll be doing a walkthrough of the garage.
And that's what I did, is I bettered it. I mean, the wheels on there are from the bottom of a chair, you know. It's just, it's fun to figure out, you know, you're using your brain and you're actually doing something that people really enjoy seeing. I mean, we get close to 200 people every year here since we've been here to come through. And, you know, the weather's not that great, but they still show up. And that tells me something, that they want to see what you've done the next year, you know. Right now, I think the most things we've added now is the backdrop back here. And then I rewired a couple things and added a couple more little things here and there, you know. Build up the graveyard bigger, so that's like a 15 by 15 graveyard. Add a little things here and there, you know. Got a zombie baby over in the baby carriage.
That's nice.
You know, just some gore, you know. But
well, I mean, would you say that the people that show up every year, you know, you see the kids that are getting older and all that, and,
yeah.
you know, they're inspired, or they remember, they retain something that drives them to want to come over and see it again. Is that kind of what
they kind of want to say, okay, let's go see what he's done this year, you know. And you know, they show up in vans and cars, and they go to the houses where they know that's where they've been before, and they know that's,
get a,
you know,
can of pop, or
whatever.
giant Snickers,
and they know they don't have to walk 40 miles to get candy and stuff, and they're going to have a good time, you know.
Yeah.
But some of the kids, you know, you get people coming here with their dogs and stuff. We give the dogs treats, and
What the dogs?
and they like it, you know.
Yeah.
I would think that we've never had a dog go nuts in here yet, but I don't know.
There's been some kids that I know, you know, when I've been here, here and there, you know, over the years, you know, some kids will get kind of freaked out by it and everything, but, you know, it's, everything's positive over here. Everyone has a great time. The parents get a kick out of it, you know.
Yeah,
they'll walk up and check it out. Oh, that's cool, man. You know, I mean, I remember when you built that Jacob's ladder back there. I mean, if you physically touch it, you're going to get shocked really bad.
Yeah.
You
That
know,
thing will melt you.
But I mean, it's all hand built. You know, my dad looked it all up, how to do it, the plans and everything, and he made it happen. You know, it's a giant transformer in the back. You could probably power a small automobile with it, but you know.
Well, you know, it's basically what it is a transformer for a neon light out of a bar.
Mm-hmm.
And I never knew that they had that kind of wattage in the damn things. But that's what it needs to power that gas inside those lights.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, somebody figured it out. Some electrical engineer figured it out. Say, hey, we could do this.
Yeah.
And voila, there you go. You know, and you look at the sets on the old monster movies, and bam, they're there. I mean, look at Van Helsing, the laboratory in Van Helsing, and you see 3 or 4 Jacob's ladders in there.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you'd love to have that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, you know, who wouldn't? I mean, the set alone would, shoot, man, that's a Halloween set right there. I don't know why Hollywood doesn't take and when they're done with the movie, put that out there for tours and stuff. I mean, God almighty. It's amazing what they do with that stuff.
What future plans do you have? How long do you think you're going to keep doing this?
I don't know, maybe a couple of years. Somebody you offered me money tomorrow for it, I'd probably say, yeah, take it all. And then just get on with my life, because I got tons of other things I can do. God only knows.
Yeah.
You know.
But you notice how you still get a kick out of doing it.
Yeah, you know.
It's always the
every time
build-up.
I say, yeah, I'm not going to do it. And then all of a sudden it comes down to summertime, and pretty soon you're watching everybody else make stuff around the country, and even over England and stuff. I mean, it's amazing. Everybody's into this. Halloween has turned into a big time extravaganza. Halloween has outspent itself compared to Christmas. It's in the billions.
That's cool.
And Christmas is having a hard time keeping up with it.
Mm-hmm.
And a prime example of that this year, and I don't know if it had to do with COVID or whatever, but when we went to the Halloween stores and
well, Spirit was practically sold out. I went there Saturday.
Yeah.
Actually, and they're down to barely anything.
We went up there Thursday night, and We walked in there, the parking lot was crazy as could
Last
be.
year wasn't like that.
No.
I could get. They had a bunch of fog machines and everything I could pick up. All
Yeah.
the displays are still up, but
But
you
I-
obviously have no problem with the
No.
supply you have.
No.
Endless amount
Well, it's
of Halloween
because-
Halloween
but, you
stuff.
know, and we got a problem is storing it. Is
Yeah.
our biggest problem. And I don't know how the guy down the street from us does it, because he's got new stuff out there every year.
Mm-hmm.
And he claims he's got an attic.
You're gonna have to keep up with the Joneses. It sounds like.
Well, he told me last year he wasn't going to do it that much anymore. But you drive by his house and there's twice as much out there.
Well,
as
yeah,
there
it's
was the year
because
before.
Oltmanns is down the block, giving him a run for his money. That's why.
But, I don't know. You know, I think this is about as big as it's going to get, because
Yeah.
it gets to the point where you've got way too much to set up. And I mean, we've been at it all week.
Yeah.
All week. And then it came down to where I didn't have money, and we tried to get stuff through the mail, and the time limits, and you know, the U.S. Postal Service is kind of slow, or so they say. Although I ordered a fog machine a couple days ago, and the damn thing showed up in 2 days.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You know, I think it's
Well,
just the luck of the draw.
Yeah.
You know.
But you're up and running now.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Everything's good to go.
Yeah.
I see a ton of lights. I see a bunch of scary looking things and all that.
Yeah.
So you're almost there. Well, why don't we go ahead and close this out here? Where can people find you on the internet?
On the internet, it's fans of Frankenstein.
They can just type that in the search bar. Fans of Frankenstein.
and you can go to the group page. You don't want to go to the page. You want to go to the group, because I'm phasing out the page as of tomorrow.
Okay.
It won't be there any longer, and anybody who's there, and I've got close to 1,800 people over there, or 1,890, something like that. It's close to 1,900. I've told everybody, you know, you got till the end of October to go over to the group,
Right on.
and after that, it'll be no more on the page. So everybody's just going to have to go to the group, and I'm getting more and more people every day on the group, and then more and more people want to join. You know,
Good.
comments and stuff, which I find it a lot more interesting than just having me go in there and say, "Hey, look at this, look at that." You know, I want to hear stories. I want to hear comments. I want to hear interesting conversations about certain things. I had a kid. I don't know if he was from a university or something, but he said he's trying to read the book, but he's not grasping the entire meaning of the Frankenstein theory and stuff. And, you know,
But he's doing it.
But he's doing it, and he asked me if I can enlighten him a little bit on it. You know, what do you say? I mean, get as many movies as you can possibly get, and they'll all be based on the same Frankenstein novel from Mary Shelley. You know, and whatever you get out of it, I mean, it's a pure sci-fi. It's some woman, and believe it or not, some woman had an idea, macabre as it might be, that she saw into the future, and that's what she came up with, this Frankenstein.
Real nice.
Yep. And,
Cheap haircut.
And
Little chipmunk.
I mean, a prime example of that book would be The Bride of Frankenstein, because they show the actress that played the bride in the movie as Mary Shelley, who wrote the book, and describing the whole story, you know, on one rainy, stormy night. So,
Well, is there anything else you want to add before we
I can't think of anything. I mean, you know, it warms the heart to see kids into the Halloween spirit and coming up with good ideas and costumes, and blows me away when they come in here and tell me exactly what this is and that is, and you know how they built it and how they built it. And so it's kind of a ray of sunshine
Yeah.
into the future. It's not going to die. It's not going to die for a long time, especially the way Halloween is. It's more than just blood and guts, gore and slash. It's imagination that just opens up the whole universe for people. You know, if you can think of it, you can do it. That's all there is to it.
I agree.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, all right, everybody. Like I said, my name is Andrew Oltmanns. This is my father, Greg Oltmanns. And if you guys want to come check this out, get on fans of Frankenstein, and make sure to like the group, not the fan page, the group. And if you guys are interested, like I said, my page is called Thrash Metal Studio. I deal with music recording, gear reviews, all that fun stuff. So maybe we'll find you on there. If you guys dig what you're seeing, make sure to go like the pages and go down below, subscribe, like it, comment. If you got a question for my dad, hit him up. He'll be able to help you out. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for checking this out. Hope you have a good one. Happy Halloween. Be safe and eat a lot of candy.